goes.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Wednesday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. Week number 4 of the Eagles offseason. It's Super Bowl week, everybody. Get your picks in. Let me know what you guys are doing to watch the big game this weekend. J-Mac, how you doing on this Wednesday morning, my friend?
Doing well. A little bit late. Trying to fix some issues on my side. Doesn't work. Goes in the opposite direction.
It's a tough start to February for tech for us, John.
By the way, I can't see the audience either, so I need to log in. You got to give me that.
No, that's what happened. That's why you had to reset everything. It logged you out. It logged you out of the guest account, which probably had all your settings pre-saved.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now I've identified why everything was reset, J-Mac. Now I've identified. We do it on the air here. I'll get it fixed for you after the show today. All right.
All right. We'll power through.
We're going to have to power through. So you can't see the comments. You can't see the great people of JAKIB Nation.
I can't see the audience level. I can see the comments.
Okay, you can see the comments. You can still see the knuckleheads. You can't see how many of them are in here. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's what it goes. So hopefully we'll power through it.
Good stuff.
Some business on air.
Yeah, a little business on air. It comes or happens to us here when you do shows online for 5 years. It is what it is. John, where are we on Eagle Land? I'll tell you, it's Super Bowl week. You know, everybody's getting ready to go. I want to look at some key dates today. We're going to talk to Brandon Lee Gowton in hour number 2. We won't talk to Mike Gill today, who's down at Radio Row or Content Row, whatever you want to call it nowadays. It's not quite Radio Row anymore, but it did look good, but doesn't feel like it's as big as it was when the Eagles were there. I don't know if that's because I'm an Eagles guy or not. I'll get your take on that. But let's get some key dates, John, and just kind of the update where we are here on a Wednesday morning before the Super Bowl.
I thought you were going to go Pro Bowl games on me. Pro Bowl games.
You know what, John? I was out of the studio last night, and I didn't even catch the Pro Bowl games.
I didn't catch the Pro games either, but I saw some people were excited, I guess. Jalen led some kind of comeback. I don't even know. I can't. It should be. I shouldn't say that because I should be paying attention because it is revolving around the NFL. But, you know, I've been to a lot of Super Bowls. Obviously, I'm not there this year because the Eagles aren't there. So, you know, I'm not watching the Pro Bowl games. I'm sorry, people. So if you got excited by that, good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But, boy, yeah. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? I'm still worried.
Hat trick for Jalen Hurts, John. Is this correct?
I don't know. I mean, it's a flag football. It's a flag football game.
Apparently, the people in the chat are saying hat trick for QB1. Big start to the comeback.
I did see a lot of comments that were really. It seemed like legitimately excited. I'm like, I'm not picking on the guy. I'm talking about it. It's a flag football game. And I'm scared to death they're going to turn the league that way. I really am. I tell that story all the time. Irv Mushnick deserves credit. He's an author. Look him up. Writes some good books. But he told me that like 15 years ago, and I laughed at him. I think he was right. I think he was right.
Yeah, I've heard you say that story.
I'm not saying next year. I'm not saying it's coming though. Because, I mean, boy, I mean, everybody's too soft. I hate to say it, but it's too violent in a game. And they're going to pull the plug at some point. And if people get that excited over flag football, it's going to help them. So I wouldn't get that excited about flag football. Just my 2 cents. There's my pet peeve of the day.
Well, speaking of the Super Bowl week, that's the Pro Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl week, did you happen to catch what Milton Williams had to say?
About the difference between New England and Philly?
No, I saw he mentioned something about he never got a contract offer with the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Eagles knew they were losing Milton. They're not in that conversation. Yeah. That was.
He said he had basically no contact with them before the free agency period as well. So it doesn't even seem like they ever tried to get the deal done.
No, you got to make tough decisions in this league. You can't. They knew what he was going to make, and they couldn't go in that direction. So that's one of those
I don't know.
where
I guess I feel like even if you know, don't you still like reach out just in case? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm off base on it.
no, that's just business as usual. From day one, I hope we reported on this show constantly. Milton's not coming back. I mean, it's just not. It just wasn't tenable. He's going to make too much money. Bet on himself. I said it all the time. He hit a home run. Great player. Proved it again this year. There's no way I thought he could live up to that contract, and he did. So I give him a ton of credit. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, the Eagles just weren't prepared, and you don't want to insult the player and say, "Well, we'll bring you back for $15 million or something like that." They were just never in the ballpark. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. At all.
Well, there you go, Vic. He is out there. I thought I'm excited for Milton. I hope he gets he's maybe one of the reasons that I will not be at all upset if the Patriots win the football. I will be happy for Milton Williams to be back there and to get the W. So good stuff there on Milton Williams. John, the other thing that's already seems to be like a foregone conclusion here earlier in the offseason, and it's not, to be clear, but it's appearing that it is. And I think to the casual or even the committed viewer, they will see the same. Everywhere I go, John, right now, every NFL outlet, every Eagles outlet, CBS, they all got A.J. Brown trade articles running all over the place. Like, man, it's really escalated.
That part of the year. Yeah, everybody's going to do. Look, I think he's more likely to be somewhere else than in Philadelphia next year. I've been pretty consistent with that. I don't think it's 99% or anything like that. I think it's more 52-48 type of thing. But I mean, when you have a situation where the player's obviously not happy, I don't think the team is happy because the player's not happy. It's gonna. I always thought they would try to talk him in and do run it back for one more year to try to talk. But how do you do that with a 33-year-old? Maybe you can do that with Mike McDaniel. Maybe you can do that with Brian Daboll even. Can you do that with a 33-year-old first-time coordinator with pretty much the same pieces around him? I don't know if that helps it. Still, it's very difficult from a cap standpoint. That's what helps it. If there were no cap issues, I would say 90% he's gone. If there were no cap issues. So that's what everybody's running with. Because, when I always talk about these trade scenarios, and everybody loves trade scenarios, and I say, look at the contract first. Before you start talking about trade, look at the contract first. Is it possible? Is it likely? And I think most people skip that step and they go, well, he's not coming back. Well, it's easier said than done.
Well, where's AJ on those two questions? Possible question and then likely question. Obviously, no for likely, but.
Well, I don't think he wants to be here. But again, that doesn't mean he can.
That's high.
But that doesn't mean you can trade him because of the contract. Like there's a lot of people that want to be traded at certain points and they don't get traded because they can't be traded. Myles Garrett, one day he's once out, one day he's back signing, millions of dollars. It happens all the time. And, when you have contracts and you're relatively early in them and there's still significant cap ramifications, and there are with AJ, it doesn't make it as easy as saying, oh, well, he doesn't want to be here, so he's not going to be here. And I think that's where, and I don't know which ones you're talking about, but most of the aggregation trade rumor, trade this they don't look at the contract. They're just saying, well, the player doesn't want to be here. The team's probably a little bit sick of it. So you have all the remedies for a trade. You have all the ingredients for a trade, but that doesn't mean you can get it done either. And plus, you have to talk about what's coming back, which is complicated by the size of the contract. Do you rework the contract? Does he get a new contract in his new city? All that kind of stuff. There's things you can do. There's tweak it. Again, you almost have to post June 1st this thing. So that means you're not getting a draft pick this year. You know, if you're, you know, people are hyper focused on getting something now, that's going to be really difficult unless it's player for player. And I don't see that happening, to say the least. So it's a lot of complications, and that's why I'm 52-48 and not 90-10.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, but yeah, from the framework of, I don't think he wants to be here anymore. Yeah, I don't think he wants to be here anymore.
What would you expect that trade to look like?
Well, under the current constraints of the contract, I think, you know, second round pick is what you're starting at, or if you want to be in the first round and you want to attach it to a first round pick, you almost have to trade the first round pick along with, in other words, a move up. In other words, you include the 23rd pick and AJ Brown to get the, I don't know, whatever, 10th pick. You know, maybe something.
Is that a better option than adding an additional 2? Or
well, I'm probably overstating top 10, but you get my point.
Yeah,
I'm just
move up. I mean, you could definitely.
you could definitely move up. I'm not sure how much teams value those.
And then go grab your left tackle. Not a bad way to do it there, I don't think.
Yeah, and a lot depends on, are you in love with a particular player in the draft? But
somebody said throw him in a trade and go get Max Crosby. I'm like, I'm not sure what you'd have to do for that, but I don't hate it if you're going to let Phillips walk.
But that the standpoint of like just a draft pick, well, that's going to be 2020. What year are we in? 2027, not 2026. Because even if you can designate trades now. They changed that a few years ago, post June 1st. You can do that. You only have 2 post June 1st days, so you have to be careful, but you can do that.
Wait, this is a big caveat. So you're telling me I know about the June 1st thing, but if they designate it for after June 1st, the draft pick that they get back will more than likely be next year's draft, not the upcoming draft?
Yeah, because you can't make it, even though you designate it, it's not official.
Right.
Before June 1st. So you can't take something of value before June 1st. The only post June 1st that helps you is for cap purposes, not anything else. So to make something official, you can't make a trade for a second round pick official in 2026 before June 1st. You know, it's in April.
A huge thing though for this year, for this team this year, because I mean, if you're envisioning a world without AJ Brown next year, you're gonna need draft picks this year or a player. I mean,
well, yeah, then you're gonna have to do player for player, or as I said,
the trade up, I guess.
Yeah, but even that you can't do now that I'm, you know, speaking off the cuff, because again, it can't become official. Otherwise, you hit the salary cap. You can do it, but then you get the salary cap rip right away. So you can't post June 1st the guy you traded before June 1st. Doesn't work that way. So if you want to take the salary cap rip, you can do anything you want. But the presumption is you don't want to take that. And we'll see, you know, pre-June 1st is $43 million of dead cap. Now, he's done it before. Jeffrey's done it before, the dead money, that part of it. But, you know, the cap hit is just over 20 million. That's the bigger part of it. Do you want to take that rip? Yeah, and maybe you do. Maybe you just want to take the medicine and get the draft pick. You know, You can do it if you want to do it, but it's much more complicated if you want to do it before June 1st. And obviously, before June 1st is better because that's when everybody has their budget. That's when everybody has their needs. And once you get to June 1st, it's like, well, yeah, that's why you can designate it, but you're not getting the assets until after June 1st.
Very interesting. Could be an interesting offseason with some of that, but good context there from John, per usual. John, let's run through the important dates here this offseason, just so people have an understanding of when to look for what. I know they know, but I want to give them it exactly. Right now, it's February 4th. The first key date I can give everybody is the Super Bowl's February 8th. All right, that's on Sunday in Santa Clara. All right, then you're going to have the combines. You're going to have the period to franchise tag, the beginning of the the new league year coming up. Then you'll have free agency. Then you'll have the draft. A lot of good dates coming up. John, let's try and give the people I'm not sure if you were able to pull it up yet. I know I hit you on the fly with it. But the key dates, John, coming up in this offseason, things for Eagles fans to keep an eye on. What do you got? Hit me with the first couple.
Well, the new league year is, I believe, March 11th, which is obviously that means the legal negotiation period. I don't call it the legal tampering period because that's an oxymoron, and that's not what it's called, no matter how many people say it. So it's a pet peeve. March 9th to March 11th. So March 9th is really the date that everyone will be focused on because most of the deals get done
right
from March 9th to March 11th. Then they can become official starting at 4:00 on March 11th. So that's the start of the new league year. Before that, obviously, the scouting combine is at the end of this month, February 23rd. I think it runs through March 2nd. That's where a lot of people do their tampering that they're not allowed to do around the league to set up things for what's upcoming the week after. You mentioned the Super Bowl. February 17th, I should mention, is that's when you can designate franchise or transition players. The Eagles generally don't use that tool, but it'll be something you see around the league. I don't think the Eagles will utilize it. They don't like to utilize it. It's not part of their strategy typically. So I don't think it'll affect the Eagles. March 29th is the annual league meeting. Be nice to be in Phoenix. It's in Phoenix this year. It'd be nice to be in Phoenix right now with this god-awful winter we're having locally. That's a big part of the calendar. From you'll see the coaches' breakfast and all that stuff. And then the draft obviously is April 23rd through the 25th in Pittsburgh. So it's going to be in Western Pennsylvania, which is kind of cool for people out in Pittsburgh. They'll be able to get all the draft hoopla, and that's always a big date around the NFL. So, one thing I never criticized the NFL. I criticized them for a lot, but they set up the calendar nicely. You think about it, we're February 4th, right? The Super Bowl hasn't even happened yet. And when the Super Bowl happens, you're basically a month away from free agency. That's it, man. They're right into it.
Yeah, no doubt. Right into it. They get the new league year started quick. Some good dates there, John. I'll ask you because you got, obviously the draft there. You have the free agency period. Those are the two biggest, acquisition periods for teams, for players. What do you expect them to be a big player in free agency this year? How do you kind of expect them to play that? They didn't really play it last year with any splash moves. We called it the Temu offseason, which ultimately panned out to be true. Of all the moves that they made, not many hit, or not many were of big relevance. What are you expecting from this team in free agency period this time around?
Yeah, a little bit more. I don't think it'll be drastic, and a lot of it's affected by the first conversation we had. Well, you're going to take a $20 million cap hit to trade AJ Brown. Well, you're probably not going to be able to do as much in free agency. So every move affects every other move, which is a pet peeve of Howie Roseman, because everybody generally looks at one move and says, oh, this is a good move, this is a bad move, and they're all sort of intertwined. So, I mean, the first thing they have to do is figure out AJ Brown and Lane Johnson, different circumstances. Is Lane coming back? That's number one on the personnel fronts. Number two is you want to handle your in-house business and what you want to get done from that perspective. So do you want to bring back Reed Blankenship? Do you want to bring back Jalen Phillips? Do you want to bring back Nakobe Dean? Do you want to bring back Dallas Goedert? You try to handle your in-house business first, and then what you can do and what you can't do affects what you do in free agency. So, I mean, as little as to use, we were talking about Milton Williams. They were never in the conversation for Milton Williams, but somebody like Isaiah Rodgers, they really wanted back. They really wanted him back, and they didn't get him. So, you got to veer off course and you got to go in a different direction. And obviously they were Tamu in it. So they brought in Adoree Jackson, who I think overall was fine. I think I got that one right. I said he was going to be the best of the Timo sign.
Yeah, I think you're right. I thought he was okay. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. He late in the year, he wasn't as much of a liability as he was early in the year. They were picking on him early, but I thought he had a good second half of the year.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. Again, not great, but for a team that you can't have a superstar at every position. I thought he did a nice job, and he got better, as you mentioned, as the year wore on, and they were better when he was on the field than when he was off the field. So, but I use that as an example because that Rodgers is the guy they wanted, but were unable to get back for various reasons, and then you have to shift. So it's not, it goes in that order. You gotta answer your in-house questions before you know what you're doing out of house, so to speak. And if they lose a Lane Johnson, well, they gotta figure out who's going to play right tackle for them. And you're never going to reach that standard. Same thing with AJ. Well, it's fine if you're going to trade him, but all those complications I brought up, you got to get somebody somewhere. Might be the draft. Like I said, wide receiver is a position you can usually get credible players even in round 2 or potentially round 3. Not going to be AJ Brown, but they could play or should be able to help you if you do it right. And then you look at the draft and, where are you? Well, they started 23rd. But if you factor in the potential compensatory picks and what's projected, they're going to have quite a few picks. So to repopulate that way as well. So, yeah, it all sort of, it's not an individual thing. It's sort of like, well, if you sign Jalen Phillips, you're good on the edge. If you don't sign Jalen Phillips,
right,
that's a big issue. So, and I've often advocated they should flip the draft and free agency, but nobody's ever going to listen to me on that because I think it's backwards. I think, if you do it before free agency, you draft the players and then you have your holes, their evident holes, and then you go into free agency.
I agree with you. I think it'd make teams more aggressive in free agency.
Yeah, probably would. It probably help the veteran players because if you don't get what you need in the draft, you're going to be sort of panic stricken. And it also helps the draft process because you're not as focused on fixing a hole.
Right.
Versus that. So I think it would help the industry as a whole, but nobody's buying that. I've been pitching that for years. Nobody's buying it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good breakdown. That's the look at some of the key dates here in the offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL. as a whole. Obviously, everybody here is focused on the Eagles. It's an important offseason, John. I think it is. At least you look at what happened this year, and you look at the window, John. Last offseason they came off a Super Bowl win, and a lot of things are being talked about, where me included. Where is this the era? Is this the opportunity to maybe try and be a dynasty, go and win multiple Super Bowls with the core that you have assembled? Felt like they had a good chance to do that. How close do you think for that window to be close? Like, if the window is here last year, where do you view it after this year? Is it down here? Is it a little bit more closed? Can they open it way back up depending on what moves they make? Where do you see that window that everybody was so high on a year ago? Where do you see it now as we sit here February 4th of 2026?
Well, I think they have the potential to keep the window open, but as we sit here on February 4th, that's the problem. It's you don't know what the finished product is. It's going to be, significant turnover, as there always is in the NFL, 25 to 30% minimum. What does that 25 to 30% look like? Are you losing Lane Johnson? Are you losing A.J. Brown? Then I don't think they're going to be probably a significant Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I agree.
Is Lane going to play again? Is AJ going to, fall in love with Sean Mannion and what he can bring to the offense? Then I think they're going to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. If Sean Mannion's a natural and he just hits the ground running, you got a chance to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think you see, the teams that are in the Super Bowl now and where they came from, especially New England. I mean, this is a parity-driven sport, a parity-driven league. And I talk about it all the time, man. The difference between these teams is top 10. Who's got the best top 10 on a specific year. And then if you go from 11 to 53, man, you could trade the bottom ends of rosters and have the same teams pretty much. So if you make good decisions, if you make, and the Eagles have been on quite a run from a draft perspective. And if that continues, yeah, they could be a Super Bowl contender. But number one, you better get Lane Johnson back for another season healthy and try to fix things with AJ. That would be number one. And then I think you're in a position if things click, you can be a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I see it as well. It's going to be interesting. I think the moves they can make, John, it can either shut the window or you can crack it back open a little bit more. We will see if they're able to do that. Good stuff. John, good stuff. Everybody being here. Don't forget to hit that like